Okay, for this shoulder strengthening exercise with no equipment, we're going to use what is commonly referred to as a pike press up. Some people call it a yoga press up because it looks like a sort of downward dog position that you would use in yoga, or well, that's what you end up in. I think there's a few other names for it as well. You could just call it a shoulder press up. Essentially, what you're trying to do with this is use a normal press up position. You take yourself down and you lower down as you normally would for a press up. Now, that should mean if you can't do a full press up, that shouldn't matter because you're usually stronger in the lowering portion, and usually people find difficult the part where you have to push back up again. So in this instance, what you're trying to do is lower yourself down, and then from there, you're going to move into a different position where you angle yourself back up, predominantly using your shoulders to push back up, but because you're sort of hinging your body up, so you're trying to keep your body as straight as you possibly can, as your butt comes up into the air and your legs stay fairly straight, you push yourself back, then it actually makes it a little bit easier because you get this leverage out of your body as it concertinas into the middle. So it should be a little bit easier from that perspective. But having said that, if you can't do even the lowering portion and get yourself down into position, you can theoretically do it from your knees. But what I would still suggest is lower yourself down using the knee position. Make sure you're keeping the line from your knee all the way through to your shoulders as straight as you can. Your bum shouldn't be up in the air. Then when you get to the bottom, lift your knees off the ground and push back. So I'll try and show you both versions. So hopefully that was clear what was happening there. You're essentially working on the lowering portion like a normal press up. Control yourself down till you're nearly at the ground, brace everything, and then push up the way. So you're trying to engage your shoulders, move your elbows inwards, so squeeze in the way rather than just pushing, and make sure that when you get to the top, you feel your shoulders are squeezing inwards and contracting to hold you in place. When you do the one on your knees, lower yourself down, hold yourself in that position, lift your knees, brace, and the upward motion is exactly the same. If you find you can't even do that, there might be a little bit more work that you need to do on smaller movements just to get you going. But you could try, if you've got a step or even just a flight of stairs with room at the bottom of it, put your hands on the bottommost step, because in that elevated position, you're going to be a little closer with your feet. So your body goes from here to here. Therefore, the getting into trigonometry here, but because the more you can sort of angle up your body, the less leverage that you're having to push up, and therefore the less weight technically you're having to push up, and it should make the movement entirely easier. So the higher up you end up going, the easier it's going to be. Obviously, if you get to a certain point, it's going to be really hard to do a thing where you push from your shoulders because your hands are halfway up a wall, which is the way I would normally recommend starting on a press up. If you can't do any of them, then trying to lower yourself down and then sort of push away from the wall, it's not really going to do anything because you're not fighting much gravity. So you do need some kind of angle on this, but that could be, the side of a couch if you've got a firm armrest, or it could be dining room chair, something like that. But I would then press it against something because you're going to be pushing away, and it might just slide away from you. So I would press against something that's not going to move, like a wall or something like that. But try it from the floor to begin with. Don't believe that you just can't do it. I'd see an awful lot of people saying that they can't do press-ups, and when they try it once, they just dismiss it as something they can't do. But if you really work on it and just try and focus, even just to get one, and you can build from there, it'll make such a big difference to try and get your body working together, and you do have to work your core and the rest of your body just to stabilize for the whole thing, so it becomes a complete workout, which is incredibly useful for you as an overall exercise. But remember, what you're trying to do is focus on the shoulders, so if you're not feeling them on the contraction portion of this, then you're not doing it right. So refocus your brain. Give it a shot, see how you get on. Try it a few times, and if you're really struggling, come back to me with any questions you've got or any issues that you seem to be having. We'll see what we can do.